All right. Well, we're live. I suppose we better get going. Welcome, everyone. I'm not as smooth with these intros as Alex usually is, so apologize. But this is the 62nd edition of Fanfield Motorsports, where we talk about motorsports Christmas. I got my buddy from the Left Turn Cult, Cody, a.k.a. Natterday Delight, a.k.a. Nas Cody.
Nas Cody. Yeah, so, dude, I've been through it with names on Twitter. I feel like I get on people's nerves with it, but I change them around all the time. And I was like, dude, Nas Cody just works.
I think the Ty Gibbs Stan account was the one that irritated me the most because I was like, kept trying to tweet at you and I can never remember Natterday Delight.
Yeah, and you're like, what is his name? I used to be Future College Dropout. That was my original Twitter name for a long time because every day I woke up and I was just like, this is it, I'm done.
Yeah. Mood. Well, we've kind of been bullshitting here for a minute about random stuff. So let's actually talk about racing. We had Motorsports Christmas this last weekend.
Dude, it was incredible. I was up and at 'em at 8 a.m. Like, I was ready for my day to start. And I naturally woke up. I sleep in every single day, but Sunday, I woke up like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 8 a.m.
Hell yeah. I don't remember what time I woke up. We had a bunch of buddies over this weekend. One of my buddies flew in from Vegas, and so we were up till like midnight prepping out ribs for our barbecue on Saturday. So I missed Monaco. I just saw the highlights of it. But I did watch the Busch race.
Did you?
I did. And the ARCA race, I watched that on the way down to the airport.
Did you watch the truck race?
I caught a very little bit of the truck race. I didn't watch a ton of it.
So I think the truck race overall was better than the Xfinity race, if I were to just like throw that out there.
Which, I mean, I've seen that on Twitter because the Xfinity race was all right. I mean, it wasn't a barn burner.
No.
Saw some comers and goers. There was a Josh Berry took the win.
Yep.
But no, I did see the ARCA race. My guy Raja had a hell of a save. Led quite a bit. And then, of course, the bushwhacker, Brandon Jones, came down and just kicked ass in the field.
Do we still use that term?
I do. So I don't know how you felt about it when like peak bushwhacking was going on, like the late 2000s. I was a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of them going down any lower than like the trucks or the ARCA.
Yeah, I mean, if Kyle Busch were to get in an ARCA car, like it's not even fun.
Like that's like a 20-year-old taking judo classes with 6-year-olds. Like it's just not fun.
Yeah. At some point, they could be considered bullying.
Right, and Brandon Jones just absolutely bullied the piss out of the ARCA drivers this last weekend.
Have you ever wondered like what the motivation is to drop down? Like, do you think it's like I need like a motivational boost, like I need some momentum, or do you think it's like I just want to win, like I want a free win?
Both, maybe. I think it's like, when you're single, maybe you don't like go try to score with the cute blonde over there. You just kind of try to like talk to the girl real quick. And then that gets your confidence rolling, I feel like for Brandon Jones, that ARCA win was just like the ugly girl at the bar who's like boyfriends.
Did he need it so soon, though, after his win?
No.
I mean, if he hadn't have won, I could see the ARCA drop down, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at this point he's trying to just like really propel. Because he's ran good the last few weeks. Like he's got caught into some trouble. But, I mean, his running position and everything has been great.
Maybe he just wanted a team owner to be happy for him.
Oh, ouch.
I mean, Gibbs didn't celebrate his win.
No.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, I don't think that Gibbs... I feel like he is just being a papaw right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just all there is to it. Do y'all say papaw out there? Or is it grandfather?
Grandpa, yeah.
Oh, see, I feel like no, y'all are like Southern. I feel like Western Southerners.
No, so the analogy I tell people, like especially when I'm talking to people from the South, is y'all are yee, and we're yee-haw, right? So there's a little bit of yee in every yee-haw, but there's not quite yee-haw in every yee.
You need to trademark that quote and hang that up.
That's the best way to describe it.
But it's crazy because like whenever you travel, this is off topic, but we're going to go here for a second. Whenever you travel and you go to a different state, you're like, dude, these people look nothing like my people. Like you can tell that they're not like your people. You look like you belong in the South. Like you just have like the whole Southern look.
I get told that by cowboys too.
Really?
Like, yeah, because like I don't look like I'm from up here. Yeah,
Yeah, no, you definitely look like you're from my hometown. Like
yeah.
that's just it's
Well, hell yeah.
insane.
I'll
Yeah,
take it.
you're a true Southern boy.
That's a good compliment. I'll take it. Yeah,
Yeah, you should.
yeah.
You
Because
just
like I
need to
don't.
get a little bit more yee yee.
Yeah. Well, trust me, I got plenty. I got very little yeehaw.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, the race was great. Brandon Jones.
Yeah. 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 um, Alex said that Xfinity race was a damn classic. I mean, it was good. I don't think it was a bad race at all. It was a
I
good
preferred the
Xfinity
truck
race.
race.
Yeah. And he also told me to put that shit on a shirt.
Dude, yeah. It needs to be in like a calligraphy, like in the live, laugh, love style.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, like the white girl wedding planner.
Yeah,
kinda.
exactly.
So I didn't watch the truck race. Saw a little bit of ARCA. Saw the whole Xfinity. Did you watch the Indy 500? I know you did. You
I
had
did.
to.
Absolutely. Yes, that was honestly that was the highlight of my day, and I was like, man, nothing is going to get better than this, and boy was I wrong.
Yeah.
But the Indy 500 was nothing short of incredible.
I mean, and it always is, especially these last couple of years. Like I feel like the races are just like not necessarily setting new bars, but they keep hitting the bar at very least.
How much do you keep up with the Indy?
Fair. I mean, I don't watch every race, but I keep up with every race.
Okay, so we're probably like at the same level then. Were you surprised by like the running order throughout the race?
A little bit. So I didn't think Marcus Ericsson was going to do as well as he did. There were a couple guys that were up front, like Alex Palou, that I knew were going to be up front. Scott Dixon. I was really surprised how good that Malukas, that other rookie in the 500, did.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think he should have won the rookie for the 500. But other than that, I mean, there was a lot of. It's kind of like a Daytona Cup race where you just see names shuffle around all the damn time.
Yeah, and pit strategies are insane at Indy.
Right.
So, hopping on your back entirely with that, I wasn't surprised at all. But I know it's like kryptonite for him. I expected Joseph to run just a little bit better than he did.
Right. Yeah, he was one that I told the people I was with, like Alex Palou was my pick to win, but like, hey, I was pointing out like 12, 13 other people, like, watch this guy. I called it before the race that Jimmy was going to crash out.
Yeah.
I thought he was just going to get a little cocky.
And it's not even that he got cocky. It's just like that one seemed like just bad luck, like a rookie kind of mistake. I expected if Jimmy was going to crash out, I expected it within like the first 75 laps.
Yeah, and I did too. We talked about it last week that if he was in a position at the end, he'd probably be running top 10, and he was at least looking that way. But yeah, snapped around on him, hit pretty hard in his nose.
Yeah, dude, every crash it felt like was a little bit harder than the previous one. They just got harder and harder. But I guess that's to be expected. Like, there's two things to talk about: how fast these freaking cars are going into a corner at 240 miles per hour, and then also just the safety of the cars, right? Because I mean, if they were running this speed in 1937, like every single one of those guys would have like been carried out in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. Even the 60s, like guaranteed broken legs.
Yeah, no question about it. And I mean now, and like it does make racing a little bit more like scary, I think. They say like people really used to push it to the edge back then. No, because they had that fear of like, if I crash, I'm probably done. And like guys today, I don't think that they necessarily have to have like that fear as much as somebody did even 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's a lot less consequences for pushing it too far than there used to be. Even 20 years ago,
Yeah, and the halos are, I think, one of the greatest additions to a race car in human history.
Yeah, the halo and the windscreen.
Yeah, the windscreen especially. That who was it at Texas who like got hit with a piece of debris and it saved their life?
Didn't watch.
I don't remember who it was. Okay, well, like this footage was released like a few weeks after the race, but something hit his windshield and it like bounced off, but it would have hit the driver. So and I mean, we had that happen at Pocono a few years ago,
2016, I think, Justin Wilson. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I think anybody who's like against safety is just a insane individual.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know that I have met one dude who is against safety. I met one dude, it's my mom's I don't know, one of my mom's friends. And he's like, "Yeah, I stopped watching NASCAR when they put the roof flaps on." I was like, "What the fuck kind of saying was that?"
Dude,
Like,
I've actually heard similar comments to that before. Like I've heard that a lot. Like, yeah, these drivers they just don't care to wreck each other out because they know they're gonna be all right. I'm like, wouldn't you rather somebody know, like
yeah,
when they get in that car that they're going home the next night?
yeah. Like if anything, it shows that the Earnhardt was that much more of a dick.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I'm just saying, like, he only did it like Richmond and Bristol and shit like that.
What about?
Santino Ferrucci's tinted shield. I didn't see that.
I didn't know he had a tinted shield. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, and he ran really, really well.
He did.
I know he's kind of like I don't know, he's like a date or Indy 500 ringer, I guess. But damn, he ran pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like a rising star
Yeah.
in motorsports in general. Because I mean, he's ran in NASCAR a couple of times now.
Hmm.
He's not had great luck by any means, but I feel like he's one of those guys who's like maybe a Scott Speed type guy.
Yeah. Well, he actually was going to be an F1 driver and got like fucking banned by the FIA.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah,
didn't
when
know
he was like
that.
15, maybe.
Was he just like reckless?
I don't remember what it was. It was something along those lines, or like he disobeyed their order or something like that. And he got banned for a year, came back over, and then they just like I don't remember if they just prolonged the suspension or what happened, but yeah, it was for a period of time not allowed to race under any FIA sanctioned divisions.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Have to do some research about him. Now the 600. So I was out and about. I did not watch most of the 600. I actually turned it on the last 60 laps. I don't know, the restart right before Busher flipped. So fill me in on the first 340 laps.
First off, it was long. It was
Yeah.
long and oh, good god. It was long and beautiful. I mean, for me, it was very nostalgic from start to finish, right? I mean, right off the bat, we saw three wide racing, which is absolutely incredible at Charlotte. Like I said, just from start to finish, I felt like I was a kid again. And like that's just I think not only was the race great, but also that nostalgia made it that much better for me. So getting to see cars at Charlotte once again being able to be racy and see consistent passing. We did not see a single wide train for 100 laps. We got to see actual side by side passing and racing.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the gist of what I've heard on Twitter was that the whole race was just kind of a racy feel, kind of like a mid 2000s Charlotte race feel. You mentioned it was long, and I kept telling my buddy I was hanging out with, I was like, look, this race is starting at 4 o'clock our time. I bet we could go play mini golf, go get some dinner, go to the arcade down the street, and come back, and it'd be 10 o'clock, and it still won't be over. And sure shit, we got home at like 9:15 with still 60 to go.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yes.
It blows my mind that you say you get home at 9 and there's 60 to go. I'm sitting there like 11 o'clock and I'm like, good Lord, we've
Yeah.
been here so long. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was happy the entire race. I haven't been that excited this season since probably California as far as just like watching the race and like being excited. But I can't brag on the race enough. Charlotte, I think Alex had said something about it. Is Charlotte back? I think so. I think that the track has aged well. And I think we could have had this racing on Charlotte 3 years ago had we had this car and package, right? But it looks like the track is aging flawlessly. It is 16 years old now, the surface is, which is crazy. The repave's been that long ago already. But this package is incredible for 1.5. And something really important to talk about was the lack of a lost tire. No tires or wheels fell off. We did not lose a single wheel.
Is that the first time this year?
I think so.
I don't remember. I think Talladega is the only one I'm fuzzy on because I know every other track. I think we've lost them now.
Yeah. I know there was one race where there was only one tire lost. So or one wheel lost. I guess saying tires confusing. We did have a lot of tires lost though.
Yeah, and
So
that's what I heard. Tires kept blowing out. Um, like who else? Cindric had one
mhm.
expire on him. A couple other guys
Yep.
later in the race.
Yeah, and Reddick did.
Yeah.
Another painful week. If you are a Tyler Reddick fan at all, myself included, I'm sorry. Like it doesn't hurt any less, but it's not getting any worse. Like it is just a consistent throbbing pain now weekly.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of expect it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then Bubba ran so well. Bubba was running so good, man. And then, pit stop goes bad, ends up a little bit farther out, spins out, ends up even further back, then got collected. But the whole time, Bubba's like running top five. I was like, something's going to happen. Like, I just know that something's going to happen.
If you're Denny Hamlin or Michael Jordan, at what point do you address the pit crew problem?
3 to 4 weeks ago.
Okay. So nothing has been done yet that we know of. Like no guys have had. There's not been a personnel change. To the looks of it, there hasn't even been like a hard meeting about it.
Now, and I mean, I would say this past week was their best week. I don't think that it was their fault. I mean, we did lose 4 positions on pit road at one point, and then we lost 3, and then we gained like 4 bags. I mean, it almost balanced out positions lost and gained, but every other week has been bad. I think it was Kansas where he had lost a total of 64 positions on pit road.
Yeah.
He had the best car there that day. We would have had a 1, 2, 3 finish for Denny Hamlin's people, right? It's rough and it sucks, but yeah, I don't think that there's enough emphasis on what's going on there.
Yeah. I want to see him swap pit crews with Kurt for like a month, just because I want those really good like radio sweetheart clips from Kurt yelling at his pit crew again.
I would love to have that too. I miss that era of Kurt. But with Bubba, he didn't even when he crashed out, he wasn't even damaged. Like he had a little bit up front, but he didn't meet minimum pit road speed because they had done something. I don't remember what it ended up falling back on Booty. It was all Booty's fault because he told Bubba to like take it easy or something like that and didn't realize that was their makeup or lap. So Bubba actually got parked because his team felled him. He had the speed. His car wasn't damaged or broken. Like, he just had one piece of tape over his right front fender.
Isn't that kind of what happened to Chase Elliott? Like they just missed the damaged vehicle clock.
Yep. They were trying to repair the toe link and didn't have time. And I think if we're going to have a car that's easily repairable, I think that we need to get rid of the timer.
Yeah, at least extend it, double it, right? Because I don't think 5 minutes is near enough
Why?
to do bottle.
My thing is, why can't they push it back to the garage and work on it and get back out there the way we used to?
I think they just don't want like pieces of the car coming off and like debris, like sheet metal and things like that. There's probably also a little bit of safety, but as long as you can tape the car up, all the required panels in the car are there. I don't see why not.
Right, and I mean, they used to do some like crazy stuff, back in the day. I mean, have a limitation, but I think if they can get a car back to like a certain safety standard, or even if it is to change the toe link, because I bet it's a whole lot easier to change it in the garage than it is to change it on pit road, right?
Yeah.
So why not let them go out there, and that way they're going to know that it's done right? Because I mean, wouldn't it be more of a safety hazard if they're not sure if they've got it all together, but they did the best they could?
Yeah, Bubba's just under there zip tying shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes more sense. Like, I mean, I don't know, even if they extend it and let them go behind the garage, say you got 20 minutes to fix this, like I think that would still be better than 5 minutes on pit road right now.
Yeah, I think the time's way too short. Sure, last season and this whole past generation of car, that thing was done if it tagged the wall. Like there was just no saving it. But this car just seems to be so much different. Honestly, I think had they been able to like work on Blaney's just a little bit, I think they could have had him meeting minimum speed. But they just didn't have the time.
Yeah, and what happened with that? Because I saw he caused a pretty big wreck.
Yeah, he definitely caused the big one, which was exciting to have a big one at an intermediate track. We never get like 3+ cars in a crash anymore. I forget how. I think it was 7 or 8 guys were involved in it. He just lost it, and that's all there is to it. He spun his tires, lost it, and all hell broke loose, I guess.
Alex brought up Daniel Suarez with the most quality top 15, like with as far as passes of the week and everything goes. Yeah, and then got collected in a late race wreck. I mean, he just lost it off of the inside or off the outside of 4, I think. I don't remember if someone got into him.
No, he that was on the front stretch, wasn't it? No,
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was coming out of 4. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue with it was I think his spotter got him more than his car, personally, because it looked like he was trying to come up, and Briscoe was right there. There just wasn't enough room, and then he might have just sent it into the dog leg a little too hot and drifted up farther than he anticipated. But to me, it definitely looked like he was maybe just told incorrectly to come up.
Yeah.
And the runs we were getting, I couldn't imagine how difficult it was to spot Sunday. Because those runs, man, some of those runs coming off of a corner down the back stretch and front stretch were fast.
Yeah. Yeah, like an old package Daytona, Talladega kind of run.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, I turned it on right about that point and saw the crazy flip. Actually, I didn't even see it. I saw them spin. I saw Buescher hit, and then I, like, turned down, was, like, playing on my phone or, like, messing with some shit or whatever. And Cheyenne goes, "Oh, he flipped." I was like, "No. Oh, shit. Yeah."
Yeah, talk about a vicious roll, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I've never seen a car flip like that on an intermediate track.
No. And, I mean, there's 2 good things about it. Was, like, the safety of the cars and the fact that the tires were tethered on.
Yeah, if that tire wasn't tethered, someone's going home with a great souvenir.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes back to, like, just the safety of the cars, though.
Yeah.
30 years ago, would he have walked away from that? I mean, maybe not. I was interested in how long it took them to flip the car over. I would hope and pray that it was such a slow process because they knew he was okay. And I would hope that in case of, like, an emergency, it wouldn't take that long to get the car rolled back over, because that took a very long time.
Well, and this is the first time they've ever had to do that. Like, I don't even think in tests they've had, they probably go over protocol because they do have those hooks on the bottom of them now, which is awesome. I think that's great. But they've never, like, in a live situation, crew guys everywhere, tow trucks, whatever, they've never really had to do that. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of protocol that goes involved, and they'll probably be a little bit faster next time. It was still quicker than when Newman landed on his lid in, like, 2009. I remember that took like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, they knew he was okay. Like, they had already gotten his thumbs up. So that they might be incredibly fast when something, may not be good. But
I don't know the longest you've ever been upside down for, but after like 30 seconds, I get
it's rough. Yeah, it starts getting bad. And he was definitely upside down for a solid, at a minimum, like 8 minutes.
Yeah, like it was a while. Like, I'd be like lightheaded and.
Oh yeah. And that's probably why he wasn't, like, too, like, affected by it at first, because, like, just the depletion of oxygen that he was getting.
Yeah. That's probably why he wasn't too happy in his post-race interview either.
Yeah,
because he seemed pissed. I mean, granted, he had a good car; he was running really well.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one to be, like, mad at per se.
Right.
I hate using it because it's so generic to say, but everything that, like, transpired in that entire thing was just a racing incident.
Yeah, and especially, like, if he's mad at anyone, he's mad at whoever ran him in the back. But even at that, like, it happens so quick, and these cars break so fast. What did Alex say here? They do it slow, so there's no further injury. One jolt, broken bones. Yeah, but I feel
like it took them like 5 minutes to even hook it up.
Yeah, I feel like they'd just be faster at, like, the hooking up process. Like,
I get the flip over, like, that took. Yeah, that was, like, what I would imagine to be, like, very efficient. But the fact of, like, the time it took for them to even start that process was way too long.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure they'll speed it up. And then Austin Dillon had an absolute pisser of a run at the very end and just came up way too quick on the front stretch.
Dude, he 1,000,000% was going to win that race.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. He had, like, a little NOS button in there or something, because that run was just ungodly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he
that
was
was
going at least like 10 miles per hour faster than
yeah,
everybody in that
like
moment.
an extra 40 horsepower.
Yeah,
That was I thought they were gonna wreck going into 3 when he
I
took
did
the bottom
too.
line. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna wash up and just take
Yep.
everyone out. But no, he did on the front stretch like a gentleman in
Yeah.
front of the fans.
When they came out of that corner unscathed, I was like, oh my, like Austin's about to do it.
Yeah, and then he just got Bubba right into the front stretch wall, like Bubba at Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
Man,
that's
that was a
rough.
hard hit too. Logano took a good one.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like Joey has been caught up in more like senseless wrecks than anybody else this season, and just totally innocently too. Because usually Joey's the guy who's like wrecking somebody in some way, but Joey's been the one collected. I don't know if it's like karma coming all the way back around or what.
Yeah, yeah. Between him and Bubba, there's a lot of unfortunate wrecks.
Yeah. And that wreck really hindered Ross Chastain's plan for world domination.
Yep.
Um, and then who else? Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Talk about the day that Kyle Larson had. He was on. I made a video like watching the race. So I think he had to start from the back 4 different times. And then his tank caught on fire. He spun out, tagged the wall a couple times, and he always made it back up into the top 5 every single time. Like the dude passed 500 cars Sunday.
Was that the official total?
No,
Just
that's
ballpark.
Cody's total. Yeah, that's Cody's. That's what it felt like. Because I mean, he came from the back 4 different times. Just rough. Just a rough day in the office for Kyle.
Yeah. Well, good day for him in the office. Probably a rough day towards the end, especially for the pit crew.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it sucks that he got caught up. I'm not the guy who like cheers for a Larson win because I just got sick of him last season. Like he's
Yeah.
already like Jimmy Johnson level for me, where it's like I'm already tired of this guy.
Yeah.
So like obviously I'm never pulling for a Larson win, but I was totally okay with him winning based on just his domination all day.
Yeah.
And
The pure
like
determination.
yeah, you can't hate it. And I think Cliff Daniels is our next Chad Canals as far as being just that calm, composed, calculated guy because that dude is a hell of a crew chief.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. What a hell of a day for him. And honestly, that battle between him and Briscoe was legendary up until Briscoe kind of lost it there on him.
So much fun.
I would have been perfectly fine with one of them just stepping away with it after that little.
Oh, absolutely. My prediction was that Ross was going to win because I expected coming out of 4 for them to both just take each other out.
Yeah.
And Ross was sitting there in 3rd.
Yeah. I mean, Briscoe's good at that. He's already done it once this year.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you thought that he might have done the same thing at Charlotte.
Yeah.
I fully expected it. And when it happened, I was like, I knew it.
Yeah. Like, I knew he was going to give him space with just a few to go. But, like, if they were in that position last lap, even turn 2, I 100% was just going to, like, completely slam him into the wall.
But that also makes something, like, pretty apparent that deserves a little bit of focus. As maturity comes, Chase has been there for 2 races now for a win. So as that maturity comes and, like, he learns to, manage himself a little bit better, I think Briscoe is going to grow into an excellent driver who is a contender week in and week out.
Yeah. Yeah, he may be battling Larson here in a few years for just like every week wins. We might just see a rotation, like a big 3 of Larson, Briscoe, and then Chastain.
Yeah. Yeah. The Melon Man is just on a tear, man.
Man, and I don't know if it's Trackhouse or if it's just like his grit or what it is.
I think it's a mixture of both. And I think Daniel could have had the same type of success so far had luck been a little bit more favorable to him.
Right. Yeah, because he did have the best car at Coda. One could argue Auto Club, he had a really, really good chance at winning it. I mean, talk about a shit season.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who have been just so close, be it so far. Tyler Reddick, and Chase does have a win, but Briscoe definitely is in consideration for that too. So many guys just get the shit into the stick. Denny Hamlin, and think about the first 80% of the season. Just terrible luck. Yeah,
absolutely. So we have 11 winners. Denny Hamlin's only the second repeat winner of the year. We are halfway through. Third. That's right. Do you think that we're going to see 16 winners?
I think that a winner is going to be left out of the playoffs.
I think so too. And I think that's going to change the whole dynamic of winning you're in.
Yeah, because I mean, we have a lot of road courses coming up, and I think we're definitely going to see 2 to 3 different road course winners. I don't think it's going to be a Larson and Chase Elliott show at the road courses. I don't. I think between those two guys, I think they're like the two most struggling Hendrick teams, really.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to see. I think it's naive to think that Daniel Suarez doesn't get a win. I think it's incredibly insane to imagine that Truex doesn't get a win because he has had a hell of a season and nobody's even talking about it.
Right.
He's setting 5th in points with no win. So, I mean, the dude has been there. He's been consistent. And I do firmly believe that Kevin Harvick wins more than once this season. I feel like everything's starting to fall in line and that team's starting to build more and more and more momentum. I think this was his 4th straight top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Those eventually turn into wins. That's just a matter of fact. I think that Eric Almirola can still win somewhere. I think that Tyler Reddick is absolutely due for a win. Austin Dillon, I think, is going to get a win as well because Austin's had a hell of a season too. He has, I think, 3 second-place finishes. Those turn into wins eventually.
Yeah.
So, and then Blaney still doesn't have a regular season win.
Right. Yeah, he got that bullshit in the All-Star race, which neither here nor there. So to leave a winner out, we need 6 other guys to win. Who do you think those 6 will be? Or do you think there's going to be more?
I think there could be more, but I think Suarez is a lock. I think Reddick is a lock. I think that Harvick is a lock. I think that... I think that Blaney's a lock and Truex is a lock.
So that's 5. I think Stenhouse gets one. As much as I do not like that fucking dude, man, he's been running good last few weeks. I think he's got like 6 straight top 10s, like 3 top 5s in the last 5 races, something crazy like that.
Yeah. And I mean, that team is building so much momentum and you can visually see it. They are that much faster every single week. So, I mean, I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I also think Austin Dillon gets one. And then, I mean, obviously Daytona is going to be a shit show. Do we see a guy like Corey LaJoie steal a win?
I think when it comes to super speedway, we're sleeping on Brad K. I genuinely think Chris Buescher, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's ran pretty good the last couple of weeks. He's gotten, the bad luck, but what happens when he has a lucky day? He's shown speed.
Yeah, he was running top 10 for his crash. Now, of all those, obviously we'll have to look at points at that time, but who do you think misses it? Let's say Reddick, Harvick, MTJ, Stenhouse, Blaney, Suarez to make 17 drivers with the win. Obviously, it's lowest in points.
So here's the question. Do wins count more, or is it your position in points?
At that point, I would think it would be points. Like if we just have 14 or 13 guys with 1 win, right, and a few with 2 wins, obviously those 2-win drivers I think are locked in.
Okay, so then Denny's safe. I think that would just automatically point the finger at Brad, right?
It would have to. Yeah, if Brad makes it. I mean, I don't know where Suarez and Blaney are in the points. Blaney's doing pretty good.
They're all ahead of Brad. Brad is still
he's way behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I hope we get that many winners. I don't know that we will because usually mid-season we really start to see which teams have it figured out and which ones are still searching. Obviously, we had some wild card wins
on the way.
Yep. Yeah, we had some wild card wins last year with like Almirola. Shit, I don't even remember who now.
I mean, the season started with a wild card win.
Yeah, which fuck that dude. I'm not a fan of Austin Cindric. I'd love to meet him. He seems like a cool guy, but as a Blaney fan, I have to have a little bit of animosity towards him.
Why?
Because he doored us for the Daytona 500.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if you were gonna be like because he's Dad's son and he's
I've dealt with that for you. I couldn't give a shit less. Custer's the same way. Like if you told me to pick one guy in NASCAR that probably needs to be sent back down, it's Cole Custer.
I think so.
Yeah, and that's what I try to bring up when I'm arguing with like boomers on Facebook. Is like y'all will say that Bubba has no talent, but you won't shit on Cole Custer. Like, come on,
Now listen, he did win at Kentucky.
Well, Bubba won at Talladega.
Oh, that one didn't count. It was
Yeah.
under Yeller.
But no, I think Stenhouse, I think, is more of a lock than Blaney. And I'm going to say that as a Blaney fan and as a Stenhouse
Really?
fan. Stenhouse has been running super good, and I know Blaney and his team are terrible about closing races out.
Now, here's what would be really interesting. If we had 17 different winners and Blaney won the regular season points with no win. Yeah, Blaney's automatically in. Yeah.
Because the points leader is automatically locked.
Yep. And Truex is in the consideration for that too. He's in 5th place with no win. So
I didn't think about that. Interesting.
Yeah. We could see like just some wild things happen.
2 winners get kicked out, 1 guy with no wins in the playoffs.
Yeah, because of his consistency. And then NASCAR's like, you know what? This is a flawed system.
Yeah, hopefully. Because we've heard for years now that, when you're in, but that was when like 6 guys were winning races all year.
Yeah, and people wonder why like NASCAR got a little stale for everyone.
Yeah.
And that was the prime time where it was like, yeah, these guys are definitely in. Like, this is already like your battle for the championship right here. The 2 guys with 8 wins.
Which now, I think with that many winners, you were talking possibly 17, 18 winners. I think it puts more emphasis on the regular season than we've seen in a long time. Obviously, we still got a ways to go, but if we start getting down like 1 winner spot open, we're going to see guys racing hard. Not guys like Larson, guys that are in on points, but say a Stenhouse, say a Harvick, if they've already got a win, if they're at risk of losing that, we could see some really hard racing come the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that if you are a team owner and you go out, if you're front row last season and you win the Daytona 500 and it's like, yeah, we're already in the playoffs, like guaranteed we're in. How hard are you going to push everything like after that? Because your sponsors are stoked already. Like you've already fulfilled everything that you need to do, like for your smaller teams. But I think that being in a position to where, sure, you have a win, but nothing's guaranteed yet. So get at it. I think that definitely benefits the sport.
Yeah, and we even saw it with like Austin Cindric to a point. Like he hasn't ran hard since Daytona.
Yeah. Now he did run decent at Kansas.
Like he's run well.
Yeah, I mean nothing to like call home to mom about by any means. I feel like that was to be expected. I said that this season I didn't think he would win. Obviously he did, so I ate my words. But also, I don't necessarily. It's a coveted crown jewel, right? But I don't look at the Daytona 500 winner and think that's our champion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, same with me. Like it's probably been, I don't know, since Jimmy Johnson won it in like 2013, whenever he did, the big name guys that win it. Or Denny Hamlin, I guess, a couple years ago. But like even at that, it's Daytona. Let's see how the rest of the season starts going.
Right. And I mean, there's that negative connotation with every super speedway, right? And I guess I'm just as guilty of it, but you put an asterisk beside of every super speedway win.
Well, and yes and no, like I get it, but also it's the same like 10 guys that always seem to run up front. It's just a different style of racing. It doesn't fit in well with the rest of the year, but it's entertaining as all shit.
Oh, dude, I love super speedways. I'll never discredit. That is one of my favorite races of the 4 races of the season. But it's always hard to watch a super speedway and be like, yep, that's your championship contender, because you can't. There's not enough of them.
Yeah, it almost feels like a bonus round in a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Eric Almirola kills these bonus rounds, but
yeah, exactly. Austin Dillon, like he's incredible at them.
Yeah, which he has been really impressing me this year. I kind of wrote him off at the end of last year is like he solidified my thought of like he just needs to go down to Xfinity. I'd rather win 12 Xfinity races a year than run 14th in Cup every week. But damn, is he doing good? I don't know if that's just RCR or him.
I think it's probably a mixture of both. But I have this big, huge Austin Dillon conspiracy to where he's not racing much longer. He is getting ready to step up and become a businessman. He's got his PBR team. He clearly has a knack for getting deals together. The Jeffrey Earnhardt and Larry Mack thing was all Austin Dillon's doing. He's the one who put it all together and planned it all. I think that shows that he's got initiative, that he wants to be a businessman. Plus, with the reality show coming and everything, which I'm stoked about, honestly, I'm excited for us to have something like that on TV. But I think he's going to step away and leave the 3-car open, like on good terms. Maybe this is his last season and he's running his heart out for it. I don't know, but I think that Noah Gragson will be in the 3-car. Like, I just think that that's how everything's like playing out.
And I was actually going to bring this up because I just noticed it the last couple. This is like Noah's 4th full year in Xfinity. Like, I was going to say, how much longer do we actually see him run in Xfinity before he just takes some backmarker cup ride? But that makes a lot of sense. Like, I could almost see that Junior's like telling him, hang on a couple years.
I don't think Noah's leaving the Xfinity series for at least one more season after this.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd have to see when Austin's contract is up. But you make a great fucking point.
Thank you. Sponsorships just roll over.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you got a good, a guy who's really smooth with words like Austin is.
Yeah. But I mean, Bass Pro is already with Noah. Black Rifle's already with Noah. They already sponsor the 3. There's already that relationship. It just makes no sense.
Yeah. And Bass Pro's been with, that 3-car forever.
Right. Yeah. So like all the merch is just continuity. I'm telling you, it's just, that is how it's going to be. It does.
I just got a little bit lighter hair.
Yeah. If Jacob was on here and had on like a pair of shades like this, you two would look more alike.
Yeah. Which you guys said that at NAS Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. The Christmas.
Yeah.
Shout out the Christmas party.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep an eye out for that in December. Yeah, that's it. You got my conspiracy going. Cause like I brought it up a couple years ago with, the Gibbs drivers like Kyle Busch and MTJ. I was like, one of them is going to hate this new car and is going to retire, like guaranteed. And honestly, I don't, after what Dale Jr. said on his download with Denny Hamlin, like, I don't think MTJ's having fun.
I don't either, but I don't, as far as Noah goes, I don't think that Noah would leave Chevy.
No, I don't think so either, but I think Ty Gibbs definitely poses a really good question.
I think that Joe Gibbs' history shows that he's willing to put Ty Gibbs in that car tomorrow.
Yeah. Which, have you noticed, because I was a big, not necessarily a Ty Gibbs stan, right? But like I said on here, I thought he was going to get 15 fucking wins this year. After Martinsville and after that whole run-in with Sam Mayer, he hasn't been doing near as well.
He hasn't. And so there's the argument that he's crashed out virtually every race since. Yep. But also, I mean, he's crashing out because he's running back there with the guys who crash out weekly.
Guys who he's probably raced way too hard earlier in his career. Yep.
The way I rate and respect a driver as a person is the way they race. If when they get out of the car, if they like walk the walk after they talk their talk. And I mean, I feel like he is doing that, but I think that he is being like humbled right now. I think that's the best way to put it. He went out there and like the kid is always just a win waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
But after you barrel through so many people for so long, all it takes is one guy to really turn on you for everybody else to pull out their pitchforks too.
Yeah. And Ryan Sieg was that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that was the snowball. But I don't think he's like struggling per se. I just think he's like in a moment of growth as far as like he's being humbled, and it's probably in his head a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's not running bad. Like even when he's up, he's running top 10 every week. He just has some shit go wrong.
Yeah. It's just like anything from 5th place back though in the Xfinity series is like just beyond enemy lines.
Yeah. It's like being in Mario Kart in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. It's rough. You go from 6th to 12th quick.
Yeah. And you mentioned that walk the walk, talk the talk. I think he walks the walk. Obviously, we saw him just like completely throw fists at Sam Mayer. I don't think he talks the talk very well. You ever heard him in his interviews? Because he's just like this nice little church kid in his interviews, and then he go out and like beat Sam Mayer's ass and is back in the interview, just like, oh, I thank God. And
yeah, I mean, wouldn't you say?
I want to see him drop an F-bomb. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, I would love that too. I think Monster would love it as well, like from their aspect. It does surprise me that Monster is his primary sponsor. Just due to the fact that like, and I mean, everybody has their right to their beliefs, and like that is A-okay. It's just, it surprises me from like a sponsorship standpoint to where like he's never gonna like go out and be wild, or what are the odds of him like posing with the monster girls the way that Kurt does and being like that playboy personality? Because
Yeah.
that's what fits the monster brand. I mean, if they're trying to clean up their look and they're going for something else, I mean, he's marketable. There's no doubt about it. He's a likable guy. I mean, you either love him or you hate him, but when he's just talking off the racetrack, he's very likable.
I think you bring up a great point that Ty Gibbs is 19 years old. What can't he do yet? Drink, right?
Drink, yeah. Yep.
He can't go out and party with Noah Gragson, and he can't go do this and that. Like, we've never seen Ty Gibbs get to the track with sunglasses on and a hangover. I mean, I think that, he's still a really young kid, so he grew up in church and stuff like that. Granted, I acted the same way when I was 18, 19 years old. And then I got to go to bars,
And that's just when all hell broke loose.
Exactly, yeah. And so I'm not saying all hell's going to break loose, but I think we see him grow into his own and develop his own personality here in the next
Think so?
Yeah. I really think so, yeah.
So another conspiracy I have is that he was like just cryogenically created in like Joe Gibbs' mansion. And like it's just every racer's DNA is somehow in Ty Gibbs now. So like he is just fully programmed to go out there and just win.
Gibbs is William Byron.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that conspiracy that William Byron is Rick Hendrick's son?
No.
Yeah, because like you ever look at him?
But now that you're saying that,
Hendrick,
he looks just like Ricky now, like in retrospect.
Yeah. Like he had just like this kid with a random, I don't know, hookup or whatever, and just kind of kept it hidden and paid for his racing career via Liberty University, who Rick is a huge funder in.
I've not heard this conspiracy, but I'm all in on it.
Wow. Yep. You look back, that's about the same time he was in all that trouble with mail fraud. So like, What else was Rick doing at that time? If Rick Hendrick ever sees this, please let me know if it's true, and please do not take this personally.
Yeah. It's just a conspiracy, man.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite conspiracy.
That is a good one too. Yeah. Usually the ones I come up with are just far-fetched, but that one's like rational.
Yeah. Semi-believable.
Yeah, that's when I start getting like weirded out by them. Like I love talking about like aliens driving a car.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Ricky. If it wouldn't take me 10 minutes, I'd pull up a picture of both of them and throw them on screen right now.
It's terrifying.
It could just be like the blonde hair, blue eyes, right? But
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
I don't know though. Yeah, I can see it.
Gibbs is the Joe Gibbs version of William Byron.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, we went on a fuck of a tangent.
We did.
But I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So just a little like forward look though. What are you thinking about this weekend?
I'm excited. I think it is either going to be a boring MTJ win because it's a flat track, or I think it's going to be exciting because Gateway is such a flat track.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I loved Gateway as a kid in the Xfinity series. The truck races haven't been bad, but as a kid, Gateway was one of my favorite tracks to watch.
I am worried about that jet in the backstretch wall.
Yep.
We have seen so many guys get turned head on, and granted, they're not cooking a $170 through there, but they're probably doing 130, 140 passing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's going to be done like for this trip or not, but they put $40 million in to renovate the track, and they're going to get rid of that entirely and rebuild the entire backstretch. I don't know if they're doing it this week or not, but that was a part of NASCAR's stipulation for them. So that makes me think that it might be gone by the time we get there.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, because if someone gets turned, that is a hard head on.
But wasn't it so iconic for like you knew it was Gateway just by that alone?
Yeah, kind of like the old Phoenix used to be.
Yeah. Those are terrifying though. Like you said, like in retrospect, like asking for just a terrible disaster.
Yeah, but I think it'll be good. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Are you talking about throughout all the series?
All the series or just Cup, doesn't matter.
Portland's going to be interesting. I always love a good road course. It's pretty cool that not Daniel Hemrick, I lied to you. Ben Rhodes is going to qualify the 16 car at Gateway for AJ. So that's pretty cool. Uh, I hope that we get a throwback classic the way we just had Charlotte, right? And give us some like good vintage short track racing. 1.25 miles. I think that's like a beautiful length for a track. Gateway is just always fun. I'm just excited to go back to Gateway, and I hope they have race day live on TV because I want to see Kenny Wallace early in the morning.
Yeah. Isn't he going to be in the booth for stage 2?
He is. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
But they're doing a race day at the track too. So I'm hoping that they put that on TV because back in the day, that was like the best thing in the world.
Oh, man. You want to talk about like mountain time zones and races, right? So like I got home at 9 and they still had 60 to go.
Yeah.
It was the best as a kid, waking up at 9 or 10 a.m., sleeping in on a Sunday morning and turning the TV on to see like Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Spencer cutting it up, get my bowl of cereal, sit and watch.
All day long. It was an all-day event. Yeah, and then after the race, you swap back over to Speed for the post-race coverage.
Yep. Well, by that time, I had shit going on, but
I was more of a loser. So
yeah, yeah. I think Mountain Time is the best time zone to watch races in. Honestly,
think so. What? Yeah. So on a Sunday, what's your start time if it's an East Coast race?
Okay, so nowadays with the 3:30 Eastern start times, I start at 1:30, so that gives me just enough time to get up, do some things around the house.
You say that's the best time to watch a race. That's what time I used to get to watch them. I know how great that. Yeah, because you still have a whole evening.
Yeah, exactly. And like even when they were like starting earlier than that, 11 a.m., like it was perfect. Like I'd start the race, make some lunch, sit down, watch it. Maybe get a quick cat nap in, and wake up to the finish at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then still have all day to go play outside.
Yep, those were the days.
Yep. So yeah, Mountain Time is definitely the best to watch a NASCAR race. If you ever head out this way, we got to watch a race on TV at noon.
1:30. Yeah, that's beautiful.
You got anything else for this episode? I'm gonna try to keep it a little quick, just because I'm the only fan fuel guy here this week.
Yeah. I think that's about it, really. I think we covered just bravo to NASCAR and to Charlotte for making this weekend nostalgic. The broadcast was good too. I do want to note the broadcast was very good in my opinion.
It was good. Yeah, it wasn't as much of the Clint Boyer randomness. I really like Jamie McMurray in the booth.
I think Jamie balances it out so well.
Yeah,
so well.
I said on Twitter that Jamie McMurray is what Fox thought Clint Boyer was going to be. And granted, I think they play into Clint way too much. I think he's more of a serious guy than they take him for. But I feel
they're making him too much of a color commentator.
Right. Yeah. I think we're finding a little sweet spot in here.
Yeah, for sure. Have you noticed before we go that Clint has started getting kind of snappy with Mike in the booth?
Yes.
He is quick to correct him anytime he says something wrong now, which is becoming more and more and more common. I know he's getting older. I just do not want Mike to take the DW route.
I know. Yeah.
And it's happening.
I don't remember who it was in the booth a couple weeks ago. Man, it might have been McMurray, but they said some quick little thing to Clint, and he just goes like straight face, like that wasn't funny, like right on the live broadcast. Like,
yeah, I feel like Clint's getting like kind of. I think he's getting bitter about the fact that they're making him like the clown.
Yeah, and like he sees it on social media, I'm sure. Like he's the butt of everyone's jokes,
Right, and I don't hate him in the booth. I mean, we definitely need like a fun guy. It's just they're making him too fun.
Yeah.
Like it's getting a little bit too yee.
Right. Yeah, a little bit too good old boy. Give me some race analysis.
Yeah. And Clint has it in him. He's not stupid at all. Like he raced for how long? I mean, he understands cars. Let him show what he's actually worth. Did you like the all driver booth on Saturday?
I mean, I like Harvick, Logano, and Blaney in the booth. I don't like the whole race day coverage with the drivers, just because, and maybe it's just because they're not quite as groomed for TV as the other guys are. Maybe if you stick a Harvick down there and then fill the rest of the booth up, then it's all right. It's cool that they do that.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the booth. What I liked the most about it was the drivers were able to be like really unfiltered about like their thoughts on the track. They were very vocal about how they wish every track had AstroTurf. Things like that was really cool to hear. I did appreciate Harvick's meltdown on the production team.
Yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
that? So maybe that's what maybe we just need Harvick as the showrunner up there. Like somebody who like is just a race fan needs to be the guy who's like telling them which camera angle to use
Yeah.
because like the fact that we were missing that battle and like Harvick has to like yell it out to him.
Yeah.
Like, those guys, I bet they were livid. Like this guy comes up here and tells me how to do my
Yeah.
job.
I make the joke that I think every week before he gets in the booth, Clint just like shotguns 2 beers. I want Dale Jr. to shotgun a beer or 2 before he gets in the booth and just completely let loose once in a while.
Oh man, I'm excited for NBC to pick back up coverage just for Junior's
Yeah.
commentary.
Because like drunk Dale Jr. on Twitter watching races is the best Dale Jr. I've
I
ever
know,
seen.
yeah, yeah. He gets just so like philosophical over it all. Yeah, I would love. They need to do that, like for the All Star race or something, where we
Yeah.
have just like a drunken booth. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that for the All Star race.
Yeah. Man, not like a sloppy drunk. Just give me a good buzz on everyone.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah.
Jeff Burton 6 beers in.
He's like that damn Noah Gragson hit my boy.
Yeah. That'd be
Then
awesome.
Ward's like, he's bullying mine. Noah
Yeah.
Gragson is anti-Burton family.
Really?
Think about it. He's feuding with Jeb. He punched Harrison.
Hey, that's a good point. That's a real. I mean, is he really feuding with Jeb? I think Jeb's just kind of feuding with Twitter.
I think it's hilarious, regardless. Yeah. I will say, when Jeb talked about the fact that he ran better than Noah at JRM and was immediately fact-checked on it and just didn't respond, I wish he would have somehow backed it up.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I like Jeb, but like,
oh, me too. Yeah, you just can't make an accusation like that when you're gonna get scalded for
it's
it.
It's a quick trip to racing.
Yeah,
dude, come on.
Yeah. Like someone out there hates you enough to where they're gonna do their research.
Yeah, not even hate you enough, just want to get enough likes on Twitter. I mean, shit, I do
clout. Yeah, that's what. Hey, we all clout chase here and there.
I am starting my countdown. I have 36 days until I hop on a plane headed for Atlanta.
Are you excited?
I am stoked. It is my one race a year. I'm going to go down there, probably hang with a lot of the guys that I've talked to for years but never met, like Cody. Hopefully you make it down there.
That's my ultimate goal. Like, if I don't do Atlanta, I'm going to be sad until next Atlanta race.
Yeah. And I don't know what I'm going to next year. It probably won't be Atlanta, but I'm going to try to make it something East Coast. I'd like to go to Bristol or Charlotte.
You got to do Bristol. I feel like Bristol has to be the next one.
I need a place to stay out there because I'm not trying to pay for a hotel.
Yeah, if only I lived 20 minutes away from
Bristol
Speedway.
If only I knew someone who lived 20 minutes away from the track.
Yeah, if only. I'll make a couple calls and see if I can figure something out for you.
Yeah, I think my neighbor's got a tent, maybe.
Yeah, no sweat.
Yeah, Bristol very well might be it next year. Because we are trying to buy a house out in Charlotte here in probably 6 years at this point, 5-6 years, once we save up for a down payment. So the races, as we get closer to that point, are going to be fewer and far between just to save a little bit more money. But
which is fair. And in the long run, that's a good investment because you're going to be closer to a lot of races.
Right.
It's going to be way cheaper.
Yeah, I won't have to buy $1,200 worth of plane tickets.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. Talk about inflation. Yeah. Ridiculous. Chad says we got to do Southern 500. That might be it too. I don't know. I usually start looking about October, November.
I need to do Darlington at some point. That's a bucket list. I want to do it a 500, Daytona 500. I think that's my next huge race. I
always said that if one race I didn't want to go to just because I loved watching it on TV, it was always the Daytona 500, just because I love the coverage of it. You know, I can see so much more.
I respect that. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to go to it, but it's not necessarily as high as it should be on my list.
Gotcha. What about like Coke Zero 400?
I would be more willing to do that, especially with it being a night race. Yeah.
Cool by the beach in the middle of summer, just make a whole vacation out of it. Yeah.
I don't know about cool by the beach because it's in August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I went to Talladega in October and it was the hottest I've ever been in my life.
That, like, the South, that region of the South is just miserable. Anything that is getting that ocean breeze, I hate humidity more than anything else on this planet.
But it's super humid where you are, right?
Yeah, it's pretty humid, but there are some days where humidity's like 70-80%, and that's rough. But dude, like you go to like South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, it's like 110% humidity and
Yeah.
just hot. Like you breathe in and it's like you're sucking through a straw that's blocked.
Yeah, you can jump and tread water. It's so humid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you walk outside and before you even get to your car, you're already like wet.
Yeah. And that's what I hated most was like I'd get out of the shower and I never dried off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
And I mean, that's pretty normal here. Like we're always like just wet.
I
Yeah.
still have my heat on in my house.
No,
Yeah.
mine's been set at like 67 degrees now for the last like 3 months.
That's what my heat's set at all winter, 67.
Yeah, but dude, if I turned my heater on right now, I would die.
Yeah. Well,
It was like 95 degrees today.
It was 34 when I woke up this morning and went to work.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, sucks.
When does your summer start?
Probably here in 3 weeks.
And what's like the hottest day you're gonna see?
Oh, we'll see mid upper 90s.
Okay.
And we're a mile closer to the sun than you are. So like if you're out for 10 minutes, you're gonna get a sunburn. Like there's
Gotcha.
less atmosphere above us. So it feels a lot hotter than 95 here feels hotter than 95 in Kansas or Missouri or anywhere.
Gotcha.
So it sucks.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and it's dry, so you're just like sucking down waters.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And then we got wildfires.
And that honestly, that and like the wildlife would be the scariest part for me living out there.
A couple years ago, there was a wildfire like 40 or 50 miles from Cheyenne, and there was so much smoke you could look at the sun.
Really?
You could stare dead at it. It was the entire sky was like a grayish red at like noon.
Now, a few years ago, we had a wildfire down in the Smokies, and the smoke drifted up this way, and it was incredibly smoggy where I live for about a week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm sure it was nowhere near what you had, but I mean, it was rough.
Yeah. So I worked in a warehouse, and the day that it was the worst, you couldn't see the other side of the warehouse in the building.
Really?
It was so smoky inside. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have to wear did y'all have to wear respirators or anything like outside, or was that suggested?
No, because it was still COVID season, so everyone was still wearing masks, so that helped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it gets bad.
That's awful.
And then the wildlife we don't really have. I mean, there's deer that walk around in town. But
yeah, but don't you still have like rattlesnakes?
Yeah, but they don't come into town. I mean, unless you're going to go trudging through a field, you're not going to go see one.
Gotcha. And you got buffalo.
They're not wild down here. You'd have to go up towards a Cody to see one of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My biggest irrational fear is being like gored to death by like a deer or a buffalo or something or a rhino. Like imagine that being it. Just
just lame frost your ass.
Yeah, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Just on this deer's antler.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to see it, come to Frontier Days.
That happens?
That's how Lane Frost was killed. He was killed in Cheyenne, yeah. He didn't get gored, but yeah, he got killed.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's not.
It sounds kind of barbaric.
Yeah, it's more of a
gladiator stuff.
Thing. Maybe I'll ask him. But all right, I think we're about good. So yeah, 36 days to Atlanta. Let me know if you're coming. Anyone else watching this, let me know if you're headed down to the ATL the weekend of July 9th and 10th. Yours truly will be down there for my one race a year. And please
can I get an autograph?
You can. Yeah, I'll take pictures. Awesome. I do $5 a picture. Autographs are free if you bring the item and a pen.
Okay, cool.
If I got to use my own pen, it's $1.50.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Inflation,
and
bro.
You owe me $1, so you better be down there.
I do. Yeah. I do. I'm a man of my word. You will get your $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you gonna spend $1 on though?
At this rate, maybe a quarter tank of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona teas are still $1.
That is true. That is natties are still the same exact price as they were 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Even PBR's gone up a little bit.
They have, yeah. Natty's for the people, bro. I bought a whole case because I was like, Bud Light is now $1 per can for a case, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that is too much. Natty is still $16.50, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Arizona Teas, Natty Delight, and Keystone Light are all just inflation proof.
Yep, and that shows that they care about their people.
Yep. So yeah, if y'all see me down in Atlanta, please hand me a bottle of water or a beer, because I will be hot and probably melting in the Georgia heat.
You will, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't debate it.
Yeah. Other than that, y'all have a good one. We will see you next week to recap Gateway. Please check out Left Turn Cult. Have you guys gone live this week?
So fun fact, no, we haven't. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, we've not gone live yet. Trying to corral the other 4 guys is like an act of Congress sometimes because everybody's schedule is like the exact opposite. Monday's the sweet spot, but it was Memorial Day. Didn't want to do anything on Memorial Day. And then last night, Chivigan guys went live. Tonight, y'all are going live. So I think tomorrow night's what we're aiming for.
Well, depending on what time, let me know. And if only you have 1 or 2 guys, give me a shout. If it's before 8 Eastern, I'll hop on.
Yeah, for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah. All righty. Well, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the Gateway races / Portland race. Try not to melt in the summer. And we'll see y'all later.
Vroom, vroom.